Guys, in the past year and a half, have you turned on your TV? Have you perused the internet? Have you, I don't know, listened to any of your favorite true crime podcasts? If you have answered yes to any of those questions, you've probably heard about Bryan Kohberger. And I kind of pride myself of being in the dark most of the time because it's fun in here. So it's safe,
It
right?
can be fun.
It can be
It
fun.
can be.
But this case has been in the news and it's been fire everywhere. When it happened, it was huge news.
There's no shortage of stuff flowing out now, from gag orders and dead silence to suddenly full 911 calls, transcripts, text messages, Amazon orders. You name it, it's out now. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
the series of how things have unfolded with this case has been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, Bryan Kohberger, which I know there are some true crime friends of ours who don't like saying his name because they don't want to give him the glory of having his name be on the internet, but it kind of is what it is at this point. So we have some stuff about this
We do.
particular case,
We
don't we,
do.
Kimbo?
We do. Really, we just want to add a perspective to this whole dialogue. And what's interesting, we've been trying to do this for like a week,
Uh-huh.
but the universe hates us and throws obstacles in our way, like illness and, pesky things like jobs and things we have to do all the time. But I actually saw today that Gray Hughes did something like this. And I'm really glad that he did, because his has visuals, like a POV from Schmeier Schmerberger's allegedly point of view. But similarly, we also had the same thought, like, why not talk about this one piece and see what you think about it and do a little experiment. So what we want to do is talk about this 16 controversial minutes. So Gray thinks that it's actually 9 minutes. I'll post a link to his video in the description here. Go watch it. It almost makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, because he has these great 3D renderings and like visuals. And but let's talk about 16 minutes. A lot of people think that, because let's just say, I think roughly it was like 4:06 to like, or 4:04 a.m. to like 4:20 is this tiny window where the perpetrator, Schmerberger, allegedly committed these quadruple homicides. And a lot of people are saying 16 minutes is not enough. And Gray Hughes even thinks that 9 minutes is enough. And honestly, I don't disagree. But 16 as a number sounds really, really small. And it sounds incomprehensible that in 16 minutes, one person was going to unalive 4 people with a knife. However, if I told you that instead it took, let's see, 960 seconds, would that seem longer? Maybe. But let's talk about the perspective of time and do a little experimentation. When I used to do, a myriad of different trainings and professional developments with my team, especially in customer service, though, I would talk about how our perception of time is different, and time is money. People don't like to be put on hold. People don't want to be told to wait. If you're holding somebody, make sure that you occasionally acknowledge them. These little things that make the passage of time very different, but the way we perceive time is very uniquely different. And the saying, it flies when you're having fun and it drags when you're not. And I think we can all agree that that tends to be true, right? You're having a blasty blast and suddenly it's 2 a.m. and the club is shut down.
Right.
But like, you're at a lecture at a university hall for 2 hours and it feels like you've aged,
Yeah.
because time is relative. So let's test that theory. What I used to do in these trainings was I would have everybody close their eyes and I would say, okay, does everyone in this room think they have a good idea of how long a minute is? And most people would yes, yeah, nod. And I'd say, all right, let's close our eyes. I'm going to take out a stopwatch, and I got one here, and I'm going to put it on the screen. And I would say, I'm going to start the timer. When you think 60 seconds is up, eyes closed, I want you to raise your hand. And when time is actually up, I will let you know. And wouldn't you know it, so many different people, so many different times. And you can see people like counting and like tapping or like humming a song that they might know. And some people were close, some people were way off. But
Yeah.
that just goes to show you that a minute can be a long time when you're actively thinking about it.
One
Now
Mississippi, two
multiply
Mississippi, three Mississippi.
multiply that times 16 and trust me, my opinion is it is plenty of time to do what he did. To make my point, I'm going to start a timer for 60 seconds, right?
Do I close my eyes?
Now. No, you don't have to, but if you are watching, you're welcome to close your eyes and be honest in the comments. If you were close, not close, let me know, but I'll let you know when 60 seconds is up. And until then, we're just going to make some chit chat. But Lindsay, what do you think about this whole sort of controversy, this divided fence of it's not enough time, it's too long or too short or makes no sense?
Well, I think you and I spoke about this when, we were coming up with ideas of things that we wanted to talk about is, during the OJ Simpson case, they were saying 5 minutes was not long enough for OJ
Right,
to go in and murder anyone. And
right,
when Geraldo was popular on TV in the 90s, he did kind of an experiment of like, let's just sit here for 5 minutes and see how
right.
long that took. And once everyone sat there, it kind of put it in perspective for him, right?
1 minute.
It's a long
That
time.
passed. It passed because we were talking. But if we sat here in silence for 60 seconds, it would have felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
So if you were close, let us know. But 1 minute. Lindsay,
That
in
was
the time
long.
you said all of that, I probably could have been multitasking, gone upstairs, gotten a drink of water, walked down the stairs, and came back, and you'd still be talking about Geraldo.
Yeah.
And we're not going to torture you by sitting here in silence for 60 straight seconds. But the point is, it's not necessarily this finite structure of 60 seconds. It's just not long enough. It really does make a difference when time is passing you and you're enjoying something, or you're anxious, or you are waiting for something, or you're trying to beat the microwave, or you're stuck at a red light in traffic. And God forbid, if this light doesn't turn green any minute now, I'm going to lose it. It's very different depending on what's happening. Now you're talking about 4 o'clock in the morning, arguably for people, young people out having a good time. Most of them had been or were inebriated. They're settling in. Your body does magical things at night. Sleeping is what helps your body heal because your body does so much stuff. When you are settling into that physical space and mental space, your reactions are different, especially when you're a little bit wasted. We've all been there, or I've been there. I went to college.
Yeah.
Heck,
Yeah.
I just said heck out loud several times, and that's so not like me. Hell,
Heck.
I've probably done that a number of times as a grown adult on accident. But that's a very different reaction, and I think it's extremely plausible.
Well, you have to think
What do you
too,
think?
like if Bryan Kohberger, if he went in there with the intention of unaliving four people, he's
Mm-hmm.
probably trying to move pretty quick if he's going up against four as well.
Right. And I don't know how the one piece fits where he had to have, if he. Now remember, we know everyone's innocent till they're proven guilty.
Like, yeah, we're just
But
we're
we're just,
playing the game right now, right?
yes, we're just
Yeah,
going to dispense with that. That's the disclaimer we know. But let's just
yeah,
say this is our guy.
yeah,
He had to have been aware of the Uber Eats driver who
yeah,
just moments before he apparently went into the house had been dropping, but he also was doing laps. But still, even if he missed that one moment in his multiple laps around the block, it's late enough. It is most homicides, especially between intimate partners, happen between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. I'm just saying. It was like the end of that window. But if he just snuck right in and made his way up the stairs and was quick about it, I don't know that anyone would have had time to scream, or we don't even know. But what we do know is that by the time someone on the next floor down would have figured out what was going on, being dark and a little drunky drunk and a little out of it, maybe even still alert because there was food ordered, who knows? I would not have known what was happening until it was happening because you don't expect that. It's almost like a quiet ambush. So our point was, does 16 minutes make sense? Why is talking so hard today? I'm like, bleh, bleh.
Because it's late at night. We do this late at night.
We do. But just imagine that 60 seconds was just stone silent. And you know what? Just to make a point, I can start the timer again and we can sit here. And I bet you it will feel a lot longer than us talking for 60 seconds through that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that to you guys. You don't want to watch us sit here for 60 seconds, but you get what I'm saying.
I bet a lot of people would click off this video and be like, I get it.
If they haven't already.
Yeah, I know.
But that was just the teeny tiny little baby experiment we wanted to do. I encourage you to think about that and maybe do it yourself and see if you have any change in perspective of what a minute is.
Yeah, I think understanding what can be done in that amount of time, which I think that was a big thing in the Murdaugh case too, right?
Yeah.
Because of Paul's cell phone and how the chain of events that led up to them being killed.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you only need so many seconds to walk from this point to this point, and you only need this many minutes to pick up a gun and shoot it and then put it down. Like, kind of playing out these crime scenes of like really understanding time and how long things take.
Right. And also think about yourself when your adrenaline is pumping. Let's say you're doing an extreme sport or you're skydiving or you're just really excited. Maybe you're going to do some public speaking. For me, my adrenaline always spikes when I'm about to perform, which is super annoying, especially when it's a cappella. It's not nerves for me. I think my largest crowd was 40,000. It doesn't bother me at all. But my body, my adrenaline gets going. I'm like, woo, I'm like amped up and it sounds like nerves because it's like I'm radiating. You can accomplish, it's like that mom's lifting cars off of babies things when that adrenaline gets pumping. Time passes very differently when your adrenaline is high too. So just think about it, you know, it's not that implausible. And I think it's pretty likely that this was easy to accomplish in the time that it took.
I think so too. I think whether it be 9 minutes or 16, I think that's plenty of time. I know that his defense team is trying everything to help their client out. I hope
that's
that
their job.
I get it. I hope it's a fair trial. I hope that if he is the person that needs to pay for this, like it's just a clean done thing. So if this is the guy, the families can move on and grieve and do what they need to do. So with that being said, Kimberly,
I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go in the least creepiest way possible. Hey. Make good choices, please, because we love you. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Start over. We're so stupid.
We're so extra.
We have no business being on the internet.